The Summer Institute in Digital Literacy presents Let It Go, Going Back to School, presented by Yonty Friesem and Clayton.
Okay, welcome back from the Design Studio Showcase and to the last keynote presentation. We're very excited and looking forward to it. We wanted to start with some personal take. We learned from Julie, not just papaya and hawks, but also like what we've been going through in the last 4 months. And as I moved to Chicago, working in Columbia College, I've been more and more challenged about understanding as an immigrant and white immigrant about being white in the United States. What does that mean? And structural racism, which I was not too familiar with. And one of the biggest feedback that I heard this week and was very challenging for me to hear was about the diversity in our faculty. And we acknowledged that, and I think we worked toward that, and we had Tisha, our keynote, but in addition to that, really looking at our representation and what we come across. And as that, this is not the first time I'm doing the Let It Go, I was like, wait a second, again, white Disney representation. So I was looking on the web, and what I found is this amazing Brazilian artist that is taking Disney characters and diversify them. So you can look the link on Pathright and amazing work that she's doing there to challenge the perception of what we think should be media representation. So I wanted to thank all those feedback from all the people who came, and this is something that we're really gonna take as part of our challenge. And this presentation is all about the challenges that we put you through this week, but also where are we gonna go with it starting like a month as we're going back into campus. So during my dissertation research, I did an ethnographic work for 2 years in elementary school, implementing digital literacy. And you can figure that it's pretty difficult. And the whole point of this research was to find what are the ways that really teachers would take digital literacy and implement it. So obviously, it's very close to Maslow hierarchy of needs. If you don't have equipment and space, it's not gonna happen. If you don't have time in your schedule, it's not gonna happen. But that's most of the time out of the control of the teachers. What the teachers do have control, and what I could see, is what we talk about like self-determination theory. There needs to be a shared vision, a collaboration with other people, that you're not isolated. You need to have the tenacity and the confidence, the sense of confidence to really do the digital literacy. And then the playfulness of like volition of, okay, here, I'm gonna go and play with it and enjoy it. So what we want to do is to have Kara explain how she implemented those elements with her classroom and setting. Kara.
So thank you, Yonty. So what you see here is a picture of my TV studio. It's one of the rooms that we have. And we got there eventually, but we didn't start there. We actually started in a very, very small room, and that was challenging. Yonty, can you? Yeah, thank you. So our room was kind of like this. We were all crammed into one space for teaching, for learning, for editing, for running a TV show every day. And this is what my classroom looked like. On the upper left, you could see we had two big, huge cameras. We had VHS tape at the time, and everything was big. Our computers were big. So we had 2 computers on one side of the room, 2 computers on the other side of the room. My teaching desk was behind the young lady wearing the yellow vest. And at one point we were actually recording and producing our show with the director calling out the calls in the classroom. We were eventually able to have a rolling case where we could move things out into the hallway so that we could have a show. And it was definitely a challenge for us. But we had a lot of time to collaborate, and that is something that is like underlying in my teaching practice is that we collaborate together. And students learn that even in that cramped space, we could all help each other out instead of feeling like we were crammed in that little basket where the bears were to begin with. So we had students who were running camera and helped each other learn how to run camera, and students helping each other edit and produce and that type of thing. And we also had a lot of tenacity. We produced a daily morning announcement show in about one class period, and we recorded it and edited it, and it needed to be on the air every single day, every single school day at 8:45 in the morning. And this was, again, during the time of VHS editing, and we had a lot of rolling tape forward and rolling tape backward in order to get things all queued up to the right spot. And at times, well, not at times, probably every day, I would yell, it's 8:40, or it's 8:41, or it's 8:42, because we had to have our show on the air by 8:45. And there were times that we literally ran that VHS tape from one end of the building to the other in order for our show to go on the air. And we had a lot of fun. Being part of a TV studio class is a ton of fun, and we take kids on field trips and we let them create music videos, and we just try to have fun wherever possible. Sometimes we turn on Motown and sing it in the morning while we're editing, and just to kind of get things loosened up and just have fun while we're working together. So after about, well, it would have been about 2007, we had proven ourselves to the community that we had a really great TV program. It was a class that was requested by lots of students, and we passed a bond, and we moved from that cramped little classroom space to a studio that had multiple rooms. So you see the classroom or the studio on the upper left. Down below on the left, you see students who are able to edit in a separate space, not crammed right next to each other. We do a lot of collaboration with the elementary schools. In the upper right, you can see our new control room. The room was there, but the equipment is new this past year, so that we are able to have a more direct set of experience that goes from classroom to workspace. And then in the lower right, this is my wonderful video production students. These are my wonderful video production students from this school year. And we did not get to close out our year because of COVID the way we normally would have, with a celebration. As I may have said already, these are all seniors, and there would have been a big graduation party in my classroom in May on the students' last day. So instead, we waited until July when we were able to get together outside in a smallish, small to mid-sized group. And they all came over for dinner, or almost all of them came over for dinner a few weeks ago. And it was a joy that just filled my heart. And I'm gonna add a little PS, because I know he's in the room right now. Chris Plummer, who's behind me, and he's wearing a yellow shirt and glasses. Chris Plummer is one of the editors who've been working this week to get videos up on the Pathright site. So he's here along with a former student from a few years ago whose name is Shamir Owen. So I wanted just to give a public shout out to them for right now. So that's where we are, and collaboration, play, and tenacity. That's how it got us to where we are today.
And so obviously Kara, award-winning educator, right? So we're looking, oh great, yeah, with 20 years of experience and everything. But in a month, I'm going back to the classroom or online teaching, and not trying to be too much grumpy cat, but you know, it's not gonna look the way that Kara is describing. So of course there are challenges, and we want to talk about the challenges. Like, you're gonna come back and the budget will be cut because of the economical crisis, right?
Yeah, Yonty, did you know that in Michigan, we're looking at an almost $700 to $750 cut per student this year.
Yeah, and if that's not enough, you have a curriculum, and how are you going to put all those stuff that you did this week into your already packed curriculum?
And on top of that, I don't even know if I'm going to just be handed a curriculum on a plate that has nothing to do with what I teach.
And if that's not enough, do you have control over what's going on? If you're doing a Zoom and the students are doing whatever they want, right? Do you have enough experience to use all those tools that we showed you this week?
Right. And we don't even know what our administration is going to allow us to do or to use.
And I'm sure, you know, we're going to feel isolated, and there might be a school culture that will be totally discouraging, like Kara was saying with the administrators. And
yeah, exactly.
And malfunctions of my computer died yesterday, and the students going to be transgressive. As Ruth was saying, you know, the students need also to show up in order for you as an educator to be able to play.
Right. And I have students who were getting up at 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Don't even know what it's going to be like to have students need to engage in real-time learning at 7:45 in the morning.
So we want you from Grumpy Cat to move to Sven and think in growth mindset instead of yes, but to think about yes, but what if we look at the cuts of the budget, but what actually we can afford?
Exactly. So what if I were to look at the numerous resources that Joyce presented to us yesterday, so that it might supplement some of the things that I can't afford to buy myself?
Yes, and what if we look at integrating in our current curriculum and not adding more lesson plan, but actually just adding features to what we're doing already?
Right, so digital literacy doesn't have to be it can be inclusive. And what if I looked at some of the apps like Padlet and use that to have my students post their work and share with others?
Yes, and what if I'm looking inside my school, inside my classroom with my students, and outside of the school for support?
Exactly, and my students I know are really tech savvy. I'm very fortunate, and I think all of us, if we turn to our students to get some help, they can help us. And then on top of that, we have Twitter with all of those experts around the world who can help us.
Yes, and what if we're looking at the community of practice that we're trying to build here, right?
Right, and this week we got introduced to 150 participants. We have a wonderful participant list. We have the Summer Institute and Digital Literacy faculty. We need to help each other, and we need to count on each other for that help.
Yes, and what if we're doing a student-centered practice and inquiry-based?
So how can I tap into things that my students want to learn about rather than what I want to teach them about? And maybe I can look into or ask them what they've been doing since March. Kind of like Julie with her papaya and her hawks. What have they learned about in the last 6 months that they might want to share with others, and maybe we can expand on it further?
So what we want to ask you to do now, we're going to go into small breakup rooms, and we want you to think about one challenge that you're going to face in a month. And then at the same time, also to talk about at least one strategy that is connected with either collaboration, tenacity, play, or all of them together. So we're going to give you 10 minutes in very small groups, and then we're going to come back to just like final notes and like one small surprise activity. So here we go.
Okay, Yonty, I think almost everybody's back.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, Kara, take it away.
Yeah, so we hope that you had the opportunity to engage in some discussions. It's next,
Yeah.
the fall is going to be tough for all of us, but we have a way to think about how we can change our yes buts to what ifs. We have been going super fast this week. And so we're going to try to slow it down now and just kind of ask you to let it go. And here's Yonty with that part of our.
So what we want to offer as a practice, because it's easy to say let it go, to sing let it go, but you're actually going to the classroom and what am I supposed to do? So one of the things is basically to practice self-compassion. Like, the perfectionism cannot work at this time, especially with what we're asked to do. And one of the way to practice self-compassion is by meditation. And if you were to Terry and Julie's presentation,
sit up tall in your chair. Sit up tall.
They offered the 5 Focus. It's a Baltimore initiative for middle schoolers with 7 exercises that you can print, you can download the PDF. You have all the links here and also in Terry and Julie's presentation. So it's for inner school, middle school kids for 3.5 minutes to do meditation that you can read. And obviously we chose the Let It Go one. So our dear faculty member, Frank Romanelli, agreed to narrate. So what we're asking you to do is to join us for the next 3.5 minutes to do a meditation before we let you go. So let's go.
Sit up tall in your chair or stand with your feet flat on the floor. If you feel comfortable, close your eyes to tune out distractions. Take a deep breath in, letting go of any tensions as you breathe out. Slowly relax your neck and your shoulders. Now relax your arms and your hands. Let go of any tension you may be feeling in any part of your body. Breathe in slowly, inhaling deeply through your nose and filling your lungs with air. Now slowly exhale. Allow each breath to become slower and deeper than the one before. Take a deep breath in and completely fill your lungs with air. When they feel full, see if you can draw in just a little more air. Now tuck your chin into your chest and hold your breath for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly exhale, lifting your chin back to its normal position. Begin again, inhaling deeply. Tuck your chin and hold your breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale out and slowly lift your chin. Breathe in. Inhale deeply. Tuck your chin. Hold it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale and lift your chin. Breathe in deeply. Tuck your chin. Hold it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Slowly lift your chin. Breathe in. Hold it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. One more time. Breathe in, inhale deeply. Tuck your chin and hold your breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale out and slowly lift your chin. Now when you're ready, slowly open your eyes.
So we're hoping that that's like been helpful, and we want to remind you that we're a community, and there are different ways of staying in touch with us. There is the Wakelet that you have our profile. Each one you can contact us through that. We have the DGURI that is very live all year round, and you can see what we're talking about. We have webinars and media club every month, and we're going to have more meetings related to the Summer Institute. We have the participant list on the Google that you can see specific participants with their contact info. And you have the Tier 3 and the faculty slide deck that have all their contact info that would love to touch base with you. If you need anything, please reach out.
So we're going to close by saying everyone learns from everyone. Please stay in touch. And now we're going to pass the mic, if you will, back to Julie and Renee for the last part of our Summer Institute in Digital Literacy.
Renee, you're muted.
Muted.
Let's give a round of applause to Yonty and Kara for that amazing, amazing closing keynote address. Wasn't that inspiring? So, so beautiful. Thank you so much. So now it's really time for our thank yous. We would never, in a million years, have been doing a fully online 6-day intensive 42-hour Summer Institute in Digital Literacy if it weren't for the COVID-19 pandemic. So isn't it weird that we find ourselves grateful for the new learning opportunities that have arisen from this crisis? Lots of times innovation and learning come out of crisis. And so we hope to lead the way through this professional learning experience and help you continue your learning experience as we move forward. But first, we want to have the graduation ceremony for the graduates of the Graduate Certificate in Digital Literacy. So will you stand and be recognized?
Thank you.
Now, each one of you gets one sentence to say something important. Mary Kate, I'll call on you first.
All right, I'll repeat what I wrote in the chat. Media and digital literacy is literacy. It's not another thing to teach. It's another way to teach.
Beautiful. Barb Fecto, you're next.
Everybody learns from everybody, and that means everybody, from your littlest student to your oldest whatever.
Angie Hartley, you're next.
The people doing the speaking and questioning are the people doing the learning.
Powerful. Sue Larson, you're next.
Oh my gosh. Just the community of learners I'm just so in awe of, that reaches, you know, around the globe, around the state of Rhode Island I'm so lucky to live in. So I just feel very honored to be a part of it.
And Alex Wozniak, you're next.
Find people to have fun with.
Marvelous. Well, we hope that you may choose to come back for Tier 2. The Certificate in Digital Literacy program is a 12-credit blended learning program. You've already completed the first part. That's the Summer Institute Tier 1. Now in the fall, if you choose to enroll in the program, you can enroll in a fully online class with Julie Quiro in the fall semester. And then you can take a fully online class with me, Renee Hobbs, in the spring semester. And then you can come back to Chicago, July 11th through 16th for Tier 2. Inshallah, we'll be in Chicago face to face. But maybe not. So we'd like you to look more at the digital literacy certificate program if that interests you. And now we want to thank our Tier 3 experts. Will the Tier 3 experts stand and be recognized? And I am not sure if all the Tier 3 experts are in the room, but if I call on you, will you offer some advice to the participants who joined us this week? Michelle.
Can I advise you to come to the Northeast Media Literacy Conference in November, which will be online, and I'm co-producing it. So I'm going to put the website and our Twitter handle in the chat. Stay tuned. We would love to have you there.
Beautiful. So the kind of leadership that Tier 3 experts do are like hosting and organizing conferences. Michelle, we're all excited about your leadership at the Northeast Media Literacy Conference, November 6th and 7th. And I understand, it's likely to be both face-to-face and online, right?
That's the hope, yes.
Wonderful. Mark Davis, are you here? What words of advice do you have for the folks who joined us this week? Diana McMaster, I saw you there. What words of advice do you have for the folks who joined us this week?
Well, my first words of advice are keep coming back. I was gone for 3 years, and now I'm back for my finishing my 5th year with DigiURI, and it's a great community you want to stay with forever. The piece about teaching and learning, I would say, focus on the student artifacts. If you want to win over your peers and get them to use technology in the classroom, show them what the kids can do with it and what the learning looks like. They'll recognize it. And don't try to show them what you can do. Show them what the kids can do.
Powerful insights there. Mike Deasy, Lance Lewis, Kathy Jackson, if you're in the house, will you offer us a 1-sentence piece of advice to the folks who have been gathered here for the last 6 days?
I'd say keep coming back too. This is a great professional learning community where I keep building and building on what I know about teaching, learning, and digital literacy.
Beautiful.
Sometimes when you go to a conference, you just close your notes and you put them away. Don't. Practice them every day. And keep
Beautiful. Paul Tomazawa, Diane Watt, William Yang, if you're in the house, will you offer 1 sentence of advice to the folks who have gathered this week?
I think it's really important that everybody stay in touch because it really does get better and better.
Yeah, I'd also like to add that keep coming back. I'm reminded this week that the first little while can be overwhelming, but then you reach that Zen-like state and you just revel in the companionships and learning from all of your new friends and colleagues.
Beautiful. Thank you
keep
so
coming
much.
back. And one last thing, just stay connected. Learning and questioning doesn't stop after 1 week. So stay connected through the community. It's inspiring.
Beautiful. We are so glad to have you Tier 3 experts. But Julie, we couldn't have done it without our fabulous faculty, could we?
No, we could not, especially every year, but most certainly this year.
So we want to offer our deep appreciation to the faculty who spent hundreds of hours, month after month. We've been working on this project for 9 months, and our faculty have been generously giving their time, their talent, their treasure to help us figure out what we really just couldn't imagine when we started 9 months ago. But what we thought would be useful is actually for you to hear from the faculty themselves as they offer their own learning experience. See, we did this very selfishly, right, Julie? We learn so much from this experience. So just in case you thought we were doing this as an act of generosity, no, this is a big learning experience for us too. So I'll ask each faculty member if you can make one sentence of what your learning experience has been like this week. Julie, I'll call on you first.
My learning experience has been, I guess the best word, well, there's two words, exhausting and exhilarating. Honestly, I never, ever, ever thought that we'd be able to pull this off. And I said in February, do you think we could do this? And I said no, and Renee said yes. And so it's really exhilarating for me to be in a room around the world right now with 130 plus people, and we've connected in just a few days, and it still feels almost like we've been at a week of summer camp. So it's been amazing for me. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Kara, what did you learn this week?
Well, I'm going to talk about what I've learned this past 9 months. We went from, I went from, I can't, to what if, to we did it. And I think that we means all of us sitting here on this Zoom call right now. This was a collaborative effort from everybody. And so thank you very much. It was a wonderful week.
Now I'll hear from our newest faculty member, Ryan McCarty. What did you learn this week, Ryan?
Thanks, Renee. I learned a ton. I'd like to give a shout out to our McCormick Foundation CPS scholars. I think that I learned so much from the resilience and strength and expertise of these almost 20 attendees this year, and to give up some of your summer and put yourself out there and meet a whole new kind of funny, kind of wild, kind of quirky crew of people takes a lot of bravery, and I'm so glad that you joined us this summer. I hope you're back next year because we all learned a ton from you. So thank you very much.
Wonderful. Kristen Zimke, what'd you learn this week?
I think she's having internet trouble.
Oh, she's having internet trouble. Terry Deeney, what's been your learning like this week?
Well, I think that, being in this quote faculty group is a little bit of a misnomer because we're all learners, and I have been so impressed not only with the amazing minds I've met, but with the amazing hearts. And I am just so touched and grateful to have learned from a group of people who are really trying to make the world, whatever world they live in, a better place. And I have many answers now to the what ifs I have many what ifs that I'm going to be able to implement in the fall. So thank you all.
Nice. Jill, and then Jen. What would you learn through the process of this putting together the Summer Institute?
Just one sentence. We're in this together. We got this together. Thanks so much for all the many great friends out there. Keep connected.
And I would say thank you to all of you for your perseverance, for your energy, for your sense of humor, and your patience. You have inspired me, and I've been grateful to work with all of you.
Wow. Okay, so let's hear from Amanda, Jillian, and Mike Rob Greco. What'd you learn this week?
I think I am always reminded by this week that you find the people that bring you joy, and every year there's more and more people that get added to that list that fill my heart. So I've learned from my dyad partners or my dyad groups, and from my faculty team, and from everyone here, that joy still does exist in this world, and this is the week to really capture it.
I would echo Amanda's sentiments about the relationships and connections. My incredible gratitude is for the relationships that I've built through the Summer Institute. It's interesting you put me with Amanda and Mike because those are two of my most favorite people in the world, and Summer Institute is a really good excuse to link up with them again, and Kara and you and Julie and Yonty and Frank and TMS Jen, all my faves. And I got new faves, Sophie and Ruth and Jeanette and Arlie and Steven, and too many names. I'm over my limit. Thank you.
Oh, it's great to follow Jillian. I'm not going to do a shout out rule, but you know who you are. And I think for me, this experience has been this very similar, as Kara was saying. I think of it similarly to the journey that started this spring, where we were doing something and we weren't quite sure how we were making it happen. But in the moments we took to reflect, we learned that we started with caring and we moved to sharing. And then that enabled us to create and to act. And I think this impossible thing that got done this week this way makes me feel so, I'm not going to use the word confident, but so much more energized to try to make something impossible happen again this fall for our students. So I hope you got something like that too.
Beautiful. Yonty, Troy, and Kristen, you're next.
So obviously I agree with everybody. It's amazing always to be part of this institute. Sharing insight from tier 3 was that when we overstructured, it didn't work. When there was too much freedom, it didn't work. And actually in between, the kind of like structured freedom made us really get at the end into a remarkable process that we went through. So thank you for letting me have that amazing experience with tier 3.
Right. I knew you're going to ask, so I typed it up. I'll put it in the chat and I'll read it out loud. You know, through the pandemic, we learned that some of the most challenging parts of school were that we were often alone, siloed in our own classrooms. And I think that felt even worse when everyone went digital. And so through the work in the Summer Institute, I realized that thinking partners and collaborators are essential workers. We need to make sure that whether we're planning for real-time or anytime learning this fall, that you have a partner to go into it with you. And just as everyone learns from everyone, everyone can teach with everyone too.
Beautiful. Kristen.
Yeah, why do you make me go after the author and the writer? Because I'm always all over the place. I think what stood out for me the most, Renee, is I was so blessed to have the opportunity to go back to New Mexico. I worked there for several years in Albuquerque. And to think about my friends in Chicago, this institute is about relationships and story. And getting to build relationships with folks and hearing their story. And Ryan talked about the resilience and the perseverance and the patience, but also the reminder to me that that's the story of some of my kids too, that may not have access or that might be living in an information desert. And so thank you for being open to relationships with us and for telling your story, so that we can do better and be better for the students that we serve.
Beautiful. Joyce, Frank, and Charlie, we'll let you have the last word.
I love that we pushed the boundaries of what was possible. I keep thinking of how, like the tailor, we made something of nothing. There was no hotel, there were no banquets, and yet we ate together and we laughed together. We even went to the bathroom together. And that's where most of my learning happens. You know, waiting in a line to do my thing. But I also recognized how lonely I was when I saw the comparison of not being lonely, meeting my new friends from Brazil, meeting my new friends from New Mexico, meeting my new friends from Scarsdale, and my new friends from CPS. And the best thing was, I felt like a librarian again. I felt like I was MacGyvering solutions for problems as I did for my students and my teachers. And that was so much fun, these individual conversations on solving problems, because we did so much problem solving and creation. And for those of you who didn't see what was going on, there was not just one little man behind the curtain that you could pull and make visible. It was like this amazing stage crew putting on a musical, and everybody was wearing black clothing so you couldn't see them, but they were running around like crazy, making things work that we didn't think could possibly work. So it was a creative, problem-solving, beautiful experience. And I'm so grateful to have friends and a whole filled backpack of the ideas that you gave me. Thank you all.
Charlie.
It was
Troy, Frank.
yeah, for me it was like learning to well, not learn well, it was first of all getting to work with people that I love and I've always loved, and getting to do that for another summer in the most special way ever was amazing. And now having new people that come into that, and obviously, as I can see by looking at the screen, love is very contagious, and it certainly spread through this group. And I guess if I could give you my sentence, it would be, imagine it and you can do it. And one more thing, go to Wednesday's Pathright if you didn't join us Wednesday night, or if you did, and get the video link and the chat. And I love you. Thank you.
And hi, everybody. I'm honored to follow Frank and Joyce, two of my favorite people. Charlie Cora, I usually, if you look at my background here, this is the auditorium we normally have Tier 1 in Rhode Island. And I don't get to spend much time in Tier 1 when I'm doing the Tier 2 stuff. So I kind of kept this in my background. And I got to tell you, this anytime thing has been wonderful. And I've never had so much experience with the Tier 1 learnings than I have this year, because usually I'm stuck up in a room doing other things. So there's a lot of silver linings in this program being delivered the way it is. And you know, I'm reminded by what Joyce said about access and the possibilities. And one idea of a leader is a symbol of possibility. And I look at Julie and Joyce and Kara as the symbol of possibility, because there was really a lot of downtime and a lot of just depression around not going to Chicago, and just to see the leadership that they brought into this and really modeling the way. You know, they were in the trenches with all the people running this program. So it was really, really inspirational. So I'm going to leave you with a quote I put in the chat. It's my favorite quote, and I think it's a reminder to all of you, because I get a lot of people that come to Tier 2 who say, well, I'm not really a leader, I'm a teacher, or I'm not really a leader, I'm a librarian. But the reality is you're all leaders. And John Quincy Adams, I think, says it really well. He says, if your actions inspire others to dream more, to learn more, to do more, to become more, you are a leader. And I work with a lot of leaders, but boy, the teachers, the librarians, the media specialists that I meet in this thing are the leaders. They're the ones who inspire me the most. And I love getting recharged every year at this program. So nice job.
So,
Renee, excuse me, I have Kristen Zimke, who has not been able to get on.
oh, good show. Kristen, what did you learn this week?
Kristen says that together we can do amazing things.
Oh, so beautiful. So faculty, you are a treasure to me, and this has been an incredible, exhilarating and exhausting and wonderful week. So much learning as we reinvent the future of online professional development. I think we created a new model that builds on the strength of our 8 years experience and catapults us into the future. I'm looking forward to doing online professional development for the rest of my life. Now, I want to thank our talented staff, and many of you have had incredible encounters with them. Serene and Salome, our lounge folks. Let's give a round of applause to our great staff at the lounge. Wow, you rescued us so many times with your patience and kindness and supporting the needs of our community. Shamir Owens and Christopher Plummer, they made the videos for us. Christine Dolan did all the paperwork behind the scenes, and at NLU, Liz Allen and Allison Bender kept it all running for the our partnership with National Louis University. Julie and I are also really grateful to the academic leaders who make this work possible. Danielle Dennis at URI, and Robert Muller at NLU. Now, the tradition in our Summer Institute is Julie always gets the last word. But before Julie gets the last word, I just want to remind you I just want to remind you to keep learning with us. So, yeah, so Yonty mentioned that there's lots of ways to keep learning, but he didn't mention that next week you can keep learning with us, because we're going to be having virtually viral hangouts Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. And on Friday, we're also having a special program called The Challenges and Benefits of Being a Media Literacy Entrepreneur. And coming up on August 3rd is our monthly book club meeting, where we're watching a YouTube playlist created by Michael Wesch called Teaching Without Walls. So please feel free to click on the upcoming online and face-to-face events and continue to hang out with your new friends. But before we end, I want to start where we began, because it just started with an idea. Do you remember, Kara? Do you remember, Julie? Do you remember? It just started with an idea. Hi, and welcome to the Summer Institute in Digital Literacy. I'm Renee Hobbs, and I'm here with my colleague, Julie Quiro.
So speaking of online learning, one of our values is when we're face-to-face, we always emphasize everyone learns from everyone, and we want to make sure as we move online, even in a remote setting, that everyone continues to learn from everyone. Another huge part of our Summer Institute is not just hands-on and touching tools. It's also minds-on and really digging deeper into critically thinking and reflecting and asking questions. And so it is definitely a week of learning for us as faculty and all of the participants and learning from each other.
We think collaboration is at the heart of digital literacy, and we use it to catapult our own learning and the learning of the participants in this program. This year, we're proud to be featuring Professor Tisha Lewis-Ellison. She's a literacies professor in the School of Education at the University of Georgia, and her area of expertise is on family literacies, looking at digital literacy practices in African-American families. But we are a dynamite team, and we're here to facilitate your learning every step of the way. Incredible world-class experts, Kristen Zimke, Troy Hicks, and Joyce Valenza. All right, that's pretty good. We love you. We had a great week. We're going to let Julie have the last word. Julie.
I put it into the chat to follow Troy's model. Thank you really to all of you for a wonderful week. Keep learning, keep sharing, keep questioning, and please, please, please keep in touch. And my last word will be a link to the survey that we would love your feedback.
Oh, wait, I forgot, Julie. I forgot, you can't have the last word.
Oh.
You can, but not right this second, because you're right.
There goes Renee that north.
Sorry.
Teachers from the Chicago Public Schools.
What's going on here?
Join us.
So, Julie, can you share your screen with us so we can see where that survey is located?
Sure. So it is on the very last, if you keep going to the end of Friday on the path, the very last section says Program Evaluation and Survey. And we would deeply enjoy your feedback, both program evaluation wise and also to inform our research. So thank you so much. And Renee, if you want to say anything else about that.
I guess I would just say that the graduate students are going to be meeting. If you click to the next slide, Julie, I think the next slide shows that the graduate students are going to be meeting refresh your screen maybe, but either one of those will work. If you refresh your screen, you'll see the link to where the graduate students will be meeting. And yeah, wow, we did it. We
Renee,
did it.
Are the graduate students staying with you here in the big room?
The tier 1 is staying with me and tier 2 is coming up with you. All right, let's wave goodbye now, guys. We love you. Thanks for joining us. Hope to see you next summer in Chicago.